Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Green Room Podcast. I'm Matthew Brune, and joining me once again is Colin Mitchell.
Yep.
Colin, we're both wearing the same shirt. Look at us.
Yeah, I let Normal wear the American Take Flight one. Can I just get
Mm.
this? Can I just get this started? Is that okay? Would
You
you?
want to just go
Yeah,
ahead? No, you're
because
not
you already
gonna.
kind of opened it up. There is a reason why Bruni and I both aren't wearing football shirts, and I'm gonna let everyone take a second to realize why. And that is because football hasn't done well enough to where we want to buy a shirt for football. The only reason Bruni and I have an American Take Flight shirt is because they gave it to us for free and we had to beg for it. Literally. And I know that might be like a weird shot, but they just lost 58-21 to Cal, and Cal covered the over by themselves. And I think no one thought that. I don't think anyone thought that. And later we'll get into some of the tweets that y'all just willingly gave me without barely any type of nudging, which kind of gets the gets the pulse of the people out there. But that was a bad game, Bruni, and it's a bad game that I haven't seen from a UNT team in a long time.
What do you mean you haven't seen a bad loss from a UNT team in a long time, Colin? And I don't want to spend too long on this because it's
No,
not
and
really
I don't either
important.
because there's like actual stuff we can talk
Yeah,
about.
the past is the past.
But what I mean is that it would have taken you to tell me, the pessimist between both of us, a lot to say that we were going to lose 58-21. Like if you told me, Colin, we're going to lose by what is that, 37 points? 37 points to Cal.
Yeah.
I couldn't even give you a number because I wouldn't believe that could happen. Because you and I, throughout this whole season, not only were going to give the team the benefit of the doubt, but we thought that, and we'll get into this later, we thought that the coaching staff changing was going to change a lot. And we're going to talk about here in a second if that's true or not. Because to me, not a lot has changed. And this Cal team, but compared to that 2019 team, we had the Cal writer on, said it's not supposed to be as good as that 2019 team. They only lost by, what was it, 7 points to? I can't remember the exact. So it was like 27-21 or 27-24.
Yeah.
Regardless, it doesn't matter. It wasn't 37 points. They beat North Texas, lost to Cal against Cal's backup quarterback.
Yeah.
They got beat by the run game to start. We didn't even hear from the Cal writer about the run game. We heard about the receivers and the quarterback and their
What
athleticism.
about Jaden Ott? But yes.
But yeah, but you know what I mean? Like it was the explosiveness of the offense and then their defense. And then not to mention, anytime North Texas had a chance to tackle and prove you and I wrong in terms of any tackling, it was almost like a joke. Like you'd have Ott, who you just brought up, or we both just brought up, and he'd run, and then you'd be like, "Oh, they got him right here. They'll start. Oh, he's gonna run for 9 more yards. Oh, okay." And that happened multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot to talk about here, but I just wanted to open it up. North Texas loses 58-21 to Cal. They don't score in the second half. I'll hand it to you.
There's a lot here. They did lose 58-27 to UNLV last year.
Yeah, which
almost
is
the same score. That was a pretty bad loss. So I put that in a similar tier. I'll start positive.
Yeah, start positive. What do you got?
I didn't expect North Texas to win this game. I didn't expect them to cover the spread. And so from that perspective, obviously I expected them to lose by probably 10 or more to a degree.
I agree. I completely agree.
Like that's one thing. Second of all, we had no idea what this team was going to look like. Mm-hmm. As much as we think we knew what this team was going to look like, we had no idea what this team was going to look like. I agree with you in that it shouldn't have looked this bad. It should not have come as painfully as it did today. But at the same time, look, we knew the quarterback situation was not great. We tried letting y'all down easily. We tried.
Let me tell you something, Bernie. The quarterback situation isn't even the worst part of what we saw.
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure we.
But again, the quarterback situation, one thing. All right.
Yeah.
Defensively, you can only take losing transfers for year after year after year for so long. to me. Like at some point, losing Deshaun Gaddy, losing Larry Nixon. You go back even further, losing the Murphy twins. Like you go down the list of players that have left, and then KD Davis obviously graduates.
And then we can go through injuries. Kevin Wood just in the preseason. Jalen Smith got injured tonight. I don't know how long or if he came back. So
there were signs here, and it's like you look at a lot of these teams. I think UTSA is a decent example of it. I have them on my TV right now. But like they reloaded with junior college, highly rated junior college players, then transfers as well. So this team does not have enough high end transfers, in my opinion, to be competitive. I think in this day and age, G5 teams, the only way you're competitive is if you take high level transfers. Like that's just my opinion right now. So there's a lot that this team has. Again, I tried using it as a positive that they had so much returning to a degree. That's
which
fine.
They did. Like,
that's
not something that you can say one way or the other. They did have a lot of people returning.
But with the new coaching staff, like at the end of ultimately, I mean, we watched Colorado just beat TCU, right? And Colorado last year probably would have lost to North Texas. Like Colorado was awful. They went 1-11 last year.
Yeah.
Now it's a very, very, very different situation with their head coach, and he brings in his son as quarterback, best cornerback in the country. Regardless, though, it's an overhaul, right?
Okay.
Top to bottom.
Let me stop you before you go further.
And that's not what they had. So do you want to go big picture to start, or do you want to go small picture?
Let me rebut against your returning thing, even though I agree with you to a degree. Yeah. They returned a lot of people. I completely agree in that you have to rebuild through the transfer portal. But I don't think anybody over the last 5 years would have thought that a team that we perceived to have a lot of talent and losing their two best players on defense, which was Deshaun Gaddy and Larry Nixon. Like you add those
Katie Davis.
Yeah, and Katie Davis. Sorry. Yeah, and Katie Davis to graduating. If you add those three back to the team, I'm not sure this 58 score changes much.
Maybe. So that gets into, again, do you want to talk about this game or do you want to talk about the big picture?
I'll have you.
You want to talk about the game?
I'll have you navigate us through the
well, let's talk about the game first.
Okay.
Because I started talking big picture, and I want to talk about the game because people listen for the game a little bit. Let's start offensively.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it was always a facade. I didn't think that they looked great at any point in the game, even when Jamori Macklin was ripping off 50-yard receptions.
Yeah.
Cal's defense last year was not good. This year, it'll be better this year, but still is probably not a very, good defense for Cal. And you could tell up front, North Texas did not have what it takes to block Cal. That was one of my biggest takeaways. It's which hurts because I understand Cal is a Pac-12 team. I understand Cal has better athletes, but like you said, in 2019, it didn't feel like North Texas got pushed around to this degree. Obviously, you have Mason Fine, and it's a completely different circumstance, but it didn't feel like North Texas got pushed around when they played last time 4 years ago. And so now you have Stone Earl hitting Jamori Macklin, and Jamori Macklin is the dude, MVP of this game. Not even the long pass he had to start the game.
The second one
was the second one.
Yeah.
Where he just creates 5 yards of separation off the line of scrimmage, and I was like, "Oh my god, this dude!
Yeah,
this dude can move." So, Jamori Macklin MVP of the game by far. Nobody else had more than 27 receiving yards for the game, so really it was just Macklin or bust, and that obviously to me inflates Earl Stone's numbers quite a bit. I'm not
especially
saying
especially when it's 4 receptions for 122 yards.
Yeah. Again, and he didn't throw the ball there. He threw the ball there.
He did.
Give him credit. I don't think, like you said earlier, I don't think Earl, the quarterback play, was the problem per se.
No, I mean, they didn't give Earl anything.
It's very clear to me nothing went right offensively except Jamori Macklin. And that's on everybody to a degree. Like, that's offensive line wasn't good. I didn't think the run game was good. I think we got some answers into my biggest concern going into the year, which is this team is not built to be an air raid team. And because of that, this team can't run the ball. It's like that goes back to us, not getting a push up front. So maybe it wouldn't have mattered. But at the end of the day, they didn't look like they knew how to run the ball with this personnel.
Yeah.
Which obviously, Seth Littrell and them had their flaws, but they at least knew how to run the ball. This team without a good quarterback and with a receiving core that I think is basically Jamoy Macklin and then everybody else, it's not a team that's built to run air raid. And that gets into a big picture point that I'll talk about later, but ultimately that's kind of where I'm at with the offense. I just didn't. It was a 12-point game at halftime, and I never for one heartbeat thought North Texas was coming back in this game.
Agreed. I feel like you explained the game itself well. I guess the only point that I would say on top. Okay, go ahead. The only point that I would say on top of it is going back to that 2019 game and a team that underperformed a whole lot. And we've talked about that at length for years. We talk about that team to this day. It's part of the reason why Seth Littrell is fired. That team, outside of Mason Fine, on paper, I feel like shouldn't be better than this team. And that Cal team is better on paper, than this Cal team,
especially defensively.
And that's my concern, because it's not like we're comparing Cal to Arkansas or Cal to some other Power 5 school that this team has played. We're comparing it to a team that they played 4 years ago, who hasn't blown the roof off of anybody. Cal has not been amazing these last 4 years, right?
No.
We even talked to the writer. Like the writer didn't come on here and go, oh, they're going to blow the brakes off of North Texas. He wasn't saying that Cal was going to lose, and I don't think most people, in a reasonable mind, would say that North Texas should have won this game, because they shouldn't have, on paper or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't have lost by 37.
Yeah. And look, like, to me, again, I never really thought they had a chance. It was pretty obvious from the beginning. I thought it was over. Even
right away.
Defensively, real quick. Obviously, to me, the defensive side of the ball was even more concerned than offense when you give up this amount of points. You mentioned it earlier, the tackling was abysmal. I don't even have. Let me get the
I have numbers up. What do you want me to tell you?
I was just looking up the individual tackle numbers.
Jalen Smith had the most with 9.
Like, the thing is, they play that 3-3-5, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. But against Cal, when obviously they already run first team, and they know more than I do. Sure, I always like prefacing that because, coaches get paid to do this at a high level. But North Texas not only does not have the linebackers to stop the run here, against Cal, they didn't have the defensive line to stop this Cal team. And then the running backs get to the second level fairly easily. And then you have safeties that have to make the tackles. And my God, that was some of the worst tackling. That's where you missed Deshaun Gaddy, in my opinion. That's where
I agree.
I agree with that. We took, Keyshawn McClain for granted. We took Kyrie Muhammad, I think, for granted to a degree with their tackling. It's
John Noville, I guess, if you want to even get closer to the front line there.
Yeah, like I'm secondary specific though.
Yeah,
Logan Wilson and Phil Hill single-handedly handed Jaden Ott at least a third of his yards.
Yeah.
From not being able to tackle. And then Gabe Brooks pointed this out on Twitter. They weren't taking great angles in the pass game either. Like the safety position, to me, if you read it out, it's an F. Flat out F.
Yeah.
F. And that goes back to maybe me and us being optimistic about this secondary when there was really nothing to be optimistic about except Rich Tejada.
That's what bothers me, is that I'm like, this season up to this point, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I have been the pessimist of this group to like a fault almost. And I thought that I was being too hard on this team early. And in no mind of my own could I think that performance could have happened. Like, you used Deshaun Gaddy, right? Yeah. He would have made some tackles, but does it save touchdowns? Like, are you actually saving any touchdowns?
I get what you're saying.
Like, they're to that level. You know what I mean?
Like, more problems than just having a safety. But nobody on the team could tackle. They bounced off everybody.
Eric Morris said, what was the quote? I don't have it.
It was the worst tackling half he's ever seen.
Yeah, from your head coach.
It was literally unwatchable. This is a Cal team last year that rushed for 90 yards per game.
Yeah.
And Jaden Ott finished with how much? 188.
Yep.
And 2 touchdowns on 20 carries.
Yep.
He was rushing for 9 yards a carry. Like, this is, again, it goes back to what we've seen the past 6 years, obviously. We hoped it would change a little bit, but at the end of the day, your safeties are not good enough. Your linebackers are not good enough. Your defensive line, we think, is kind of good enough, but in a 3-3-5, it's kind of hard for those guys to really be playmakers because they didn't blitz. They didn't really. They brought 3 basically every time Finley or Jackson dropped back to pass, which I can understand, but like it didn't work. Sam Jackson was 3 of 4. Ben Finley was 24 of 34 with 279 and 1 touchdown. Like it didn't work. So that there was no pass rush. The rest of your defense is not good enough. That was a real concern if we're looking at this game and the next 2-3 games. That defense, the tackling is one thing. But I just think personnel overall, that is jarring to give up this many yards to this team.
Yeah.
Jarring.
No, yeah. I mean, I feel like most fans turned off the game.
Sam Jackson was their 3rd string quarterback at TCU last year. And Max Duggan and Chandler Morris are good quarterbacks, so like there's no shame in that. But he didn't win the job outright when he got to Cal.
No,
he was in a position battle with Ben Finley.
Yep.
He wins the job. I thought Sam Jackson looked really good in his first
quarter.
The first quarter
he played or whatever.
The first quarter. So when he left, I was like, maybe North Texas has a chance here.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think they were stopping him.
I didn't think so either.
And then Ben Finley comes in and it's the same thing.
Lights out.
Just
lights out.
Just over. And so
and that's not without like they still like fumble the ball. They also threw picks. Like it's not even like that they had a perfect game. And I think
they could have been up. I don't know. They could have scored even more. It felt like to me. Like you had the interception, you had the fumble. Were just
the 37 almost seems too close with how the game looked. I mean, honestly, it really did. Like you take away the excitement of us seeing Stone Earl throw to Jamori Macklin, and what do you have in that game?
But again, that's what I'm saying. It felt fluky being down 12 at halftime.
Yeah.
Felt like they should have been down 3 scores.
Yeah.
They should have been down 20. Yep. And that's the hard part. Are you concerned about the run game moving forward?
I'm concerned about a lot, Bruni. Are we moving to
I was trying to just do like one thing at a time.
Let me
what concerns you the most?
Let me read through some fan tweets. Can I do that?
Okay, go ahead. Sure.
So because we're moving to the big picture, all I said was thoughts, folks. And we got
it's a good prompt.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's one. The worst D in the country last year lost 2 of its best players, and it didn't add anybody. Getting out of hand. It's getting bad. This is from JD. I'm shaving my mustache, and I might be too. Chandler Rogers should be playing. Stone Earl looks like Jace Ruder. Great in practice. He looks like a rookie QB, which he is. That is why you go with a QB who's been battle tested in a close competition. Defense is going to be good, but they need help. Depression. SpongeBob meme. SpongeBob gift. Depression. Yeah. They look terrible against the run. However, there was some positives in this one. Take that away in Stone's interceptions, and we're in this. This defense sucks. Yup. Look, here's the one that got me though. Yup. Time to panic. You said 1 game, and we did. We said this team had 1 game to give the benefit of the doubt of one picking Stone Earl and proving that they weren't the team of years past.
Stone Earl was awful. Okay, I don't want to say awful because
I wouldn't. Yeah, we can talk. We can dissect.
He wasn't
that
awful.
And I'm sorry. I thought I had a tweet. Maybe you sent it to me or someone sent it to me. But it was something a little bit more nuanced than just instant reaction.
Yeah, you can look it up.
Yeah, if you want to talk real quick.
I just don't. I don't think Stone Earl was bad,
mm-hmm.
but it felt very much to me that he was asked early on to make singular reads, which worked. That's how he completed a lot of his passes. I didn't see his eyes move at all. I didn't see him progress at all. It was very much a cookie cutter type of play calling for Stone Earl to keep it simple for him, and it worked. And then Cal adjusted, and then Stone Earl had to make some plays, and then he tucks the ball and run, and it doesn't work because you know why? Because Stone Earl, as much as you want him to be a good runner, he's not scary as a runner. He's not. He's not fast enough. He's strong, cool. Like he can try to get you some yards, but he's not winning the game with his legs.
Right.
So he has to be, in a sense, like a pocket passer, and he has to make reads that pocket passers have to make, and he's not making those reads. I mean, the interception he threw when they were in a zone, he just threw it between two guys, and two guys could have intercepted it, and he was just staring at him. I was like, "What? This isn't what good quarterbacks do."
Yeah.
So yeah, Stone Earl, like I'm not giving him like an F, but I mean, geez, C minus. There you go, C minus. So
I can agree with that, and I don't think. Yeah, I mean,
I can't grade Chandler Rogers. We didn't see enough of
I can't
him,
grade
even
Chandler
though I
Rogers
didn't think
either.
I thought his interception wasn't great. But I don't know. He just had to throw the ball at the end of the day. So I still don't know if Chandler Rogers is even the answer. So
I mean, he lost out to the quarterback that we both just agreed had a C minus game. So
yeah.
I mean, what are we gonna say here? I can't find the tweet.
You don't remember it at all?
I can't remember. I can't remember it all, unfortunately. But let me start with this because it kind of gets to the same point, and that none of us really expected this, and that would be from the head coach himself saying that's the worst tackling I've ever seen in a half. That's a quote, and then also the other thing said, I got to look myself in the mirror as the head coach of this program. That was an embarrassment. This is game one, Bruni.
Yeah.
Like I would like to. I know it's a different head coach, so he's gonna talk differently, and obviously Seth, I don't think would ever say anything like that because he was very buttoned up. But where do you think in his mind he's at? One, for the big picture, and two, seeing teams like UTSA obviously continue doing what they do in a harder conference against a team that's better than Cal.
So big picture wise, there were a few moments where I thought North Texas this year is just not. They don't have the talent or the personnel for what this team wants to be. From the coaching perspective, like remember when Grant McCaslin took over that first team, and you're like, this doesn't feel like it's what Grant wants, but they're gonna just try to figure it out.
Yeah,
that's kind of what this is. This is like, all right, we don't have what we had at Incarnate Word. We don't have the players that fit our system to a degree. And one of the moments where that stood out to me was when they went 5 wide and threw I believe it was a comeback route to a running back. And I believe it was a Akaika Ragsdale flanked out all the way on the left side. And they threw it and he just dropped it. And I was like, this is what we're talking about over the offseason, where it's like the running backs are having to learn how to catch the ball. Gabe Blair is having to learn how to pass protect. Like Stone Earl's having to learn how to be a pocket passer.
Yeah.
All of these things add up into where it's not comfortable.
Yeah.
Just flat out not comfortable. And from that perspective, I think that's what it's going to look like this entire season. Like, I don't think you're trying to fit square pegs in round holes right now. And that's going to lead to losses. Like, you can't, this team isn't good enough to talent its way to win games. And that's the scary part. So you asked me about future competition. Heck, FIU next week, right?
Yeah.
Not a good team. But if North Texas doesn't have an identity, can't stop the run, which FIU's only good thing it can do is run the damn ball.
4 passing against La Tech, yeah.
And then you get to La Tech, who did just get blown out by SMU, but at least showed a little bit of spunk in there, here and there. I think they lost 38-14. Again, I don't know. We came on here after on our preview podcast and talked about Navy, FIU, and La Tech, and we're like, okay, the 3 wins right there. I can't guarantee anything about this season anymore. Because
let me tell you something. If we lose to FIU, who's about to lose, who could possibly lose to Maine, we're gonna have a problem.
They're not losing to FIU, dude. I can't. Also, last year's defense ranked 105th in the country.
Yeah.
On EPA. So again, like you said, it was an awful defense last year, and now you change coordinators. Now you lose Gaddy, Davis, Nixon, And you don't, again, going back to my initial point, you don't replace them with high level transfers. It always felt like to me, Eric Morris didn't want to overhaul this thing. I don't know if you got the same feeling, but it didn't feel like he wanted to overhaul it.
I guess kind
he
of.
brought
But
in Chandler Rogers, but didn't guarantee him.
I guess
job.
to a degree, I was convinced he didn't have to, and I think that was like looking through rose-colored glasses because clearly I was wrong in that. But today, you and I both watched two teams that just completely overhauled their whole roster. Just one beat TCU after being awful last year, and then the other one just destroyed us. Yeah. After having 50 different players turn over. So, I mean, and I was just about to ask you before you asked me that was we can say over and over again this is what happens to G5 schools. You lose your good players to Auburn, whatever. Well, there's also still good G5 schools. There's still UTSA, who doesn't have, like when we talk about this a lot specifically, who doesn't have the facilities that North Texas has. And you go through the whole American outside of like a Tulane or a Memphis or something like that. I mean, SMU, I guess to a degree, but they have a lot of money. How are they able to stay afloat? How was any Conference USA school in the past that UNT can never get over stay afloat? Yeah, there's transfers, but there's got to be some give and take here because obviously you can be successful at the G5 level.
No, and that's what I look. This year kind of is what it is.
Yeah, and I think everyone agrees with that. We just didn't think what it would look like.
Yeah, and I'm not giving up on the year. I think they'll win some games, but like I said, this whole season is trying to fit a square peg in a round hole from a talent perspective, a schematics perspective. There's nothing about this team that makes sense when you look at the personnel and then you match it with the coaching staff, to me, at all. And that's going to take years to change. That's going to take transfers to change. Like, as much as you hate to say it, Texas State is beating Baylor right now at the time of this recording.
Still?
They were up 15 at halftime. I think it was 28-13 at halftime.
I saw the halftime score.
Their quarterbacks, TJ Finley, brought in from LSU and Auburn, basically was the backup at Auburn last year. Heck, he started games at Auburn last year. And then Malik Hornsby, who was the backup at Arkansas last year. Both of those players are probably better than the two LSU players or North Texas players right now. Like, I don't know. At the end of the day, you're going to need just transfers, and you have to hope that they work out. Like, that's
what's that take? Why has North Texas not done that? Texas State, I would
say,
like
you said, maybe he thought he had enough.
I agree, but is that a problem?
Oh, it's definitely a problem for this year.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I know it's a problem this year, right? You can give a pass for a year. And I don't want to go like way too far ahead in this, but what I'm saying is like Texas State is in a worse conference.
Oh, Texas State is a worse program overall.
That's what I mean. I was going to get to that. It's a worse program overall. And here they are. When has North Texas ever beaten or been up on a Baylor type school ever?
Arkansas.
But Arkansas. That year we, looking through the glasses of hindsight, showed that Arkansas team was really bad. I don't know how good I guess Baylor is going to be this year.
We don't know how Baylor could be awful.
Baylor could be also like that Arkansas team. Point is
when Texas State's up 35-24.
Yeah, 35-24.
My God.
Like they didn't like they're not scoring, fake punts and punt returns and things like that. Like, and I think that's what a lot of North Texas fans are tired of is where is our G5 success coming from?
I mean, this marks this fifth year in a row where they'll have been, basically not good, North Texas. And I'm not giving up on them being like maybe 6-6.
They're not winning 7 games.
Okay, no, I don't think they're winning 7. But I'm saying they can very well beat FIU. They can beat La Tech, and they'll beat Abilene Christian. Like, I still think they can go 3-1 in this non-conference.
I agree.
Like, that's very much on the table.
But that's not the problem. The problem is when you get to the Navy. Like how much better is this team than Navy? Because now we don't know. I mean, really. I mean, honestly, that's not a shot at anybody. We don't know.
I don't feel good.
I don't feel good.
I don't feel good about Temple either, honestly. Like
Temple,
Navy, again, go back to our top of the 5, right? Navy, Temple, UAB, Tulsa, and those are the 4. Those are the 4 conference games that are winnable there.
Yeah.
And I was like, you got to win 3 out of those 4. So because then you have the other 4 are the stretch of death.
Yeah, the stretch of death, which I also
and Tulane.
they said they beat UTSA, and I don't know if that's even going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. But Tulane looks a freaking amazing. UTSA is losing to Houston right now, but I think they're I think they're still decent. Like I said before, I don't think UTSA is as good as they've been, but I still think they're better than North Texas. Then you got Memphis and who am I forgetting out of that list?
SMU.
SMU's very good. So yeah, it's
but like looking at the UTSA score, UTSA is losing 7-17. Against,
I have it on right here.
Yeah, Frank Harris threw 3 picks. What if North Texas threw 3 picks tonight? You know what I mean? Like that's the difference. Like UTSA is not as good as they've been in years past. Frank Harris threw 3 picks, is almost under 50% passing percentage.
Yeah,
like they aren't doing anything. But it's not looking like it looks like they're a team that
they're still a good team.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It looks like that. And you brought up a point about Grant earlier. Like when we watched those early Grant teams, the team looked a lot different. Like clearly they were being outclassed, right? Like clearly, like they were going to lose games. But you saw moments. I did not see a single moment tonight where I'm like, yeah, we can take that away. The run game wasn't there
because it doesn't make sense.
I know it
doesn't make sense.
I know it doesn't make sense.
Fit. They ran stacked receivers on the boundaries, which I've seen before, but I've seen stacked receivers on the boundaries from teams that have quarterback that are Tennessee last year with freaking Hendon Hooker, Jalen Hyatt, Brew McCoy, like Cedric Tillman. Like I've seen those teams run that. North Texas doesn't have that. They don't have a quarterback.
Let me ask you this way. Is it a concern that we're doing that with the personnel?
So no. So this is my bigger point.
Okay.
I'm willing, and this is why I get on this podcast, and it goes back to, it's that old quote. It's like, I'm not mad. I'm a little disappointed, but I'm not mad. That's what I am in this team right now. I'm not mad because it's like when your toddler does something,
draws on the wall,
and you can't really blame them because they're kids, but you're still mad. Well, Eric Morris comes into this job and is like, look, this is how I'm doing things. This is how I'm running the offense. Capone, you run the defense. We're going to do things our way. We're going to try to fit these guys into our system. And it might not work year 1, but then we get more players in, get a better understanding of the system. Year 2's better, and you go from there. Obviously, we hope they'll add transfers, add talent in general. But regardless, you get the point. It's like you can't be mad at them for doing what they do. Yeah. Because we wanted a change.
We did.
We wanted that kid, we had the child.
Yeah.
And now you have to live with being up at 4 a.m. sometimes. The growing pains is what is going to be this entire year. So yeah, they might go 4-8. And ultimately, I hate to say it, but we kind of just got to live with it. Because they're not winning games with Stone Earl as their quarterback. I'm sorry.
No.
And beyond that, again, Stone Earl is not the main problem here. I didn't think the offensive line was great. I don't think they have enough receiver talent outside of Macklin. Definitely don't think they have enough defensive talent outside of like Rod Brown, who I didn't even see much of him today.
Yeah.
Again, they're fitting pieces that don't fit their system into this system. The safeties should not have to tackle this much. Because they can't. Like, I'm sorry. Oh, and again, the linebackers don't help either, really, here, right? Kevin Wood's not even, he played a little bit, but he didn't play a lot. So it doesn't fit what they're doing. And so that's what I'm saying. That's my whole point is we had a kid. The kid is Eric Morris. He's going to learn. He's going to grow. And we just have to put up with the growing pains.
Okay.
Because I don't think this is his fault. Like, I'm not mad at Eric Morris. Are you mad at Eric Morris?
No, I'm not mad at Eric Morris. I think fans could be mad at Eric Morris. I'm not
mad at Eric Morris. I mean, look, again, it goes back to what we've seen new coaches come in and win the games and like, oh, wow, this looks like a whole totally different team. Yeah, North Texas looks like a different team, but it's the same players as last year. And that's not
I think that's like, where
bro, I watched, and I don't like bringing up LSU. I know people don't like me bringing up LSU, but like, bro, LSU last year, game 1 against Florida State, they lost and looked god awful.
Yeah.
Like, and then they go on and win, 9-3 on the year. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen in North Texas here, but like you figure things out year 1. And that's with Brian freaking Kelly.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. You're going to learn. Sorry, I ranted for a long time.
No, you're fine. For the fans that already wanted to put this kid up for adoption. That's funny. I'm trying to figure out the question.
My computer's about to die. I'm 9%.
Plug it in.
I'm in the kitchen. We're just going. If it dies, it dies.
If it dies, it dies. For the people that are already like, oh my god, I thought we were going to go 7-5, 6-6, shoot 5-7. Why is it okay to go 4-8? Because I agree with you. Like before I went 6-6, like those 2 weeks prior, I was like, they're probably going to go 4-8.
Look, I want
to as the
it's not
the group,
fun.
Why is it okay?
It's not fun, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
That Seth, what did we say about Luttrell's teams? Like this was like Luttrell was that was what the program was going to be under Luttrell, right? Like 6-6, 7-5, maybe at best, but you're losing the bowl game, that type of stuff. The thing is, now they're losing games, but the future is still brighter than what it was before. So it's going to hurt. It sucks not being good at football for a 5th straight year, 4th straight year, whatever it is. But the future is still bright because I still trust Eric Morris. I still think he's a good coach. I think there's a good staff. They've recruited at a high level. They're going to have to hit the portal this year harder than they probably thought they were going to have to hit the portal this year. Like, sorry. You gotta clean this up. You gotta get more talent on this team. Bottom line.
Yeah, I agree. So, since your computer's about to die, I'll get to the last question. I think it's the question that everybody has come in, or we've all had coming to this game. Stoner Chandler Rogers. I said on the last podcast that we wouldn't see Chandler Rogers, so you already won that in the pick'em, which is good.
Yeah, but I think like the Stone Earl. We'll go through our props in a second, but go ahead.
Yeah, but regardless of the prop, I didn't think we'd see Chandler Rogers because I thought Stoner would do pretty well. He didn't do pretty well. That pick in the second half was really bad.
Yeah.
What do we do moving forward? What's this team looking like for you?
At quarterback?
Yeah. Chandler Rogers didn't look good either.
I would start Chandler Rogers.
He threw that noodle arm of a ball.
Well, he couldn't step into the throw. I'll give him a little bit of grace too. But yeah, I would start Chandler Rogers next game.
You'd start Chandler Rogers?
I would start Chandler Rogers next game.
Okay.
And that might be unfair because he's going against a worse team, but like
way worse team. Way worse team.
I don't care, dude. I know Stoner hit a couple of those passes, but there's no way.
Well, I think it's like you said, like you didn't see anything that wasn't to the book. Like you didn't see anything.
He was third string for a reason. Like he wasn't good, dude. Like his mechanics don't look smooth. He doesn't look comfortable in the pocket. He drops his eyes to try to run too much, and he can't run. He's not fast. Like he hit Jamori Macklin when he was wide open twice. Good for him. I think Chandler Rogers could have done that, but
yeah.
Regardless, yeah. I'm not sold. And we said that before the year, right? You're not going to have two really good quarterbacks here battling it out, and it's great competition. And these guys are just two elite quarterbacks. No, one was third string, transferred from Allen Christian. The other was a starter at Louisiana Monroe.
Yep.
You're lucky if one of them's good, but they had a battle throughout camp, and it was clear that neither one of them was good. So, anyways.
Okay, Jace Ruder starts next game. I'm just kidding.
Jace Ruder, throw him out there. He's got some arm talent at least. All right, the pick'em. Recapping real quick. Stone, get the stats up. Stone Earl rushing yards. Colin had the under. I had the over 45.5. It is well under.
It was well under.
Well under. What do you finish with?
Hold on, UNT. Sorry, I took it down for UTSA.
Net is -8. So there you go.
Is that what we're going with? Okay, that's fine.
Even if we're only going positive yards gained, it was 20. So
yeah, it didn't make it either way.
Colin wins that one.
Other one was not seeing Chandler Rogers. I said no. You said yes.
Hold on. I got it. UNT defense forces over under 1.5 turnovers. Colin says under. I said over. It was over.
It was over.
There you go. UNT Cal over under 55.5. We both said under.
Cal did that themselves.
Yeah, Cal did that themselves. They overhit in the first half.
Yeah, it was like
just
yeah,
in general. It was 21-34, something like that.
yeah.
21-33. Do we see Chandler Rogers? I said yes. Colin said no. The answer is yes. And then game prediction, Colin said 31-24 Cal. I said 27-24 Cal.
We'll just give neither of us those points.
Colin is right.
We won't give you no. That's too far apart.
No,
we did that a couple times last year though. Is where it was way too far apart. We don't do that.
No, you were right. Because think about it. Like if the spread was 5.5, right? I basically had North Texas covering that in my pick. You didn't. Like
okay. All right.
That's substantial.
Okay. Fair enough.
So 2-2. 2-2
Wow.
overall. So
damn, man.
There you have it.
Tough scene.
You got anything else? We've gone 40 minutes.
I feel like we can just keep talking, but no, there's nothing else that we really need to talk about.
There's nothing else. On to FIU.
Which better be a
win the next 3 games. Win the next 3 games, or else damn it, don't make me pull the panic button out of its retirement, okay?
We pulled it out last year at some point.
Don't make me do it. All right. It's not hasn't been used in over a year. I wasn't going to use it this year because again, I'm not mad. Okay. But don't make me pull it. If you lose to FIU,
we just gave the child the scolding for drawing on the walls. And if they do it again, adoption.
We just skip all the steps ahead of that. Yeah. So don't win the next 3 games. Go at least 3-1. Give us some positivity. Give us some momentum. And then go from there. We'll figure it out. We'll take our lumps from there. So, anyways, that's it. Yeah, for Colin Mitchell, I'm Matthew Brune. Also, while y'all are here, we'll talk about home field apparel, 15% off. M Green. Mm-hmm. Buy your gear.
Go buy yourself a shirt after watching. Actually, you know what? Go buy yourself a Cal shirt. You know, use that. use that.
Buy any team. Buy a Texas State shirt. I don't care.
Yeah, buy UTSA shirt. No, buy a UTSA shirt.
UTSA is selling right now. Well, we'll see. They're getting the ball back. But anyways, all right. My computer's about to die. So thank you all for joining us. We will be back to preview FIU and just talk some ball, I think on Thursday or whenever we do our preview podcast. Yeah, sounds good. All right. See y'all.